Hey, good morning, everybody. Yes, it's Friday morning. I'm excited about being excited this morning. This is Rich Wallace, and welcome to a Friday episode of Strictly Business. I always have to remember to take my glasses off because there's a reflection on them. But I want to welcome everybody this morning to our show. It's called Strictly Business, and we are here to talk about business. We were wrapping up from our last session on time management. And I want to kind of hit back on that this morning to make sure that everyone is doing management and that are managing their time, that are logging in, like what we talked about, recording that day. What you are going to do today, I want you to, once again, write it all down and tomorrow see what you left off and then find out how you could have managed that time better. And remember, time is the only thing you don't get back. So it's so important that you don't waste it. You don't put it to no use. Relaxing, watching a little TV, kicking back is not a waste of time if it's managed properly. So for the tip for this weekend, if depending on what you're selling, this is the 4th of July weekend coming up. It's going to be a lot going on. Depending on what you're selling and what your product is, will determine on whether you should take this weekend off or not. Because if you have a product that people are looking for, a tangible product, soap product, even insurance or whatever, there's going to be a lot of people out at different events. And if you take the weekend off and close yourself up in the house because you need a break, you are missing new suspects that you are going to replace with your old suspects because you turn those suspects into prospects. And remember, we talked about that line always being open so that you can always have new customers. You can't have new customers if you don't have suspects to turn into prospects to turn into customers. And remember that chain always continues to work. So I say, enjoy yourself this weekend if you're not actually one of the vendors or you're not out promoting, and go find new suspects, meet new vendors, connect yourself with new people, because the old people that haven't bought anything yet, and remember I told you there's a list of packages. You have friends and family, prospects, suspects, and your friends and family. Remember what I say, don't always try to sell them. Make them aware of what you do, how you do it, so they know. But when we meet friends and family, we talking about friends and family. I'm not trying to sell you no car, no soap, no this, no that. We are friends and family and we are hanging out. But you do know that I sell cars. So a lot of times they won't buy from you, but they will refer you. Yeah, and maybe your friends or family are different from mine. Mine talk that talk, but when it comes time, they will refer me. But a lot of times they don't want you to know their tax ID, they social for whatever it is, because we're friends and family, and I don't want you to know that I'm 2 months behind or 2 months ahead or whatever the case may be. So I say keep friends and family in the friends and family category, make them aware of what you do, and so they can refer you and answer any questions. Don't be mad if they don't buy from you, because they will eventually, sooner or later, and that's all you need to do. So I want to go back to last couple of times we were together. We were celebrating Black Music Month. The end of June, we were celebrating. It got so good that we were talking about contracts and different things in the music industry, in the entertainment industry. So we wanted to take one last day into Black Music Month, and we want to be able to talk to you about other things. So I got my good friend Mr. Roscoe Leons from the Jazz Zone, that manages art, that has entertainment, and it's always good. It amazes me, and I want to say this is the son of Mr. I want to get the name right, Jerry. Anyway, Roscoe supports his father's music legend, Jimmy Owens, legendary musician. And it amazes me that my friend doesn't sing, doesn't play instruments, but he is so into the power of what music does and how it moves you throughout the day in your life and the progress, and constantly trying to get young musicians as well as old musicians work and keep the jazz movement alive. That is fantastic. So we're going to take a real short break, and I'm going to bring Mr. Roscoe on, and I want you guys to meet this guy. He is off the chain. Welcome back to Edge TV Network, our TV show called Strictly Business. And our guest for the day is Mr. Roscoe Lee Owens, Jazz Zone leader, director, commander of jazz music. I mean, when you're a commander of something, Roscoe commands jazz music to be the next level, not the past level, but the next level into the next generation. Good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
You know, I am doing excellent. I totally appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast this morning as a proud member for many years with the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, because what you're speaking to and about is the principles of business that carries on into all businesses. If you're not out or you're not networking, you're not able to do the three things: get suspects, turn them into prospects, and turn them into clients. And as that happens, it becomes a referral base because of the business, whichever you're in, is productive, intelligent, and forthworth. So, right there, it's a blessing. Now, talking about my dad, Jimmy Owens, we go back to East St. Louis, Illinois in 1922. Now, I'm going to set the stage because 1922 is the year he was born, but they just got through having one of the most major riots in the United States history in 1920. So this is a riot that tore up and killed a lot of folks 2 years before he came on Earth. So he had to grow up in this kind of environment. The school that he went to was Lincoln High, which was the only high school that they allowed African Americans to go to. So the musical aspect of, there was a great teacher there, and Miles was one of the students there as well. In fact, to take it back, my grandfather gave Miles Davis' father, who was the dentist, a horn that one of my uncles didn't want to use, and that was Miles Davis' first horn. This was when he was a kid. So going from there, he comes to California using Route 66. We know the green book, you understand? So now he had to deal with all of that to get here to California. But as he set up here and had a home in 1956, all the different brothers that were in jazz from the Midwest was coming out, and consequently, the green, it just didn't stop on Route 66. It was where you gonna stay. So a lot of them stayed at our home. So I'm growing up in this environment. Now my uncle's also Mr. Hilton Owens is a absolute concert pianist, and they both played in the big bands on Central Avenue at the Dunbar Hotel. I'm just kind of putting the history behind, but this is the environment that I grew up in. And how come I didn't want to do that? What I wanted to do, what my dad was doing, was on Fridays and Saturdays, he had these shark skin suits on, smelling good, going to work in the evening. I said, whatever he's doing, I want to do some of that. So, but my father was a businessman. He sold cars, he sold jailers, he sold pots and pans. My father was a man that's like, okay, I have to support my family and do good. And so where I grew up at was America. From zero to the fourth grade, I was in America, which was Latino, Indians, Filipinos, African Americans, Caucasian. I mean, there was every persuasion there was around. But my father did good according to the American standard. So we moved over here, and when we moved over here, the country became white. I said, wait, I'm the only brother in the class. So I'm learning a lot of things and growing up, but still staying in the music. And now my father gets ill after doing all kind of music throughout Southern California. And so I get involved deeper, pack the drums, start making some phone calls, break down the drums, stay there. And I'm a communicator, so I began to take the mic, let them know we had these gigs. We're playing out in Brentwood. We're playing for the Old Pasadena Summer Festival. My dad was playing for Playboy. So there was a lot of things. And the interaction that I had with other musicians but it was something that I could not allow to let go of in terms of the legacy of my father. So, uh, and the trio that was there, Mr. Roger Hamilton Spots, who's an awesome musician, keyboardist, played organ, wrote symphony, just an amazing musician. Those that know him.
When you were talking a minute ago, you were saying about your father as he was playing gigs and being the musician that he was being. He sold cars. He did this. He did that. He continued to work outside of the industry to build and to take care of his family. So when we got young people today that believe they have the talent, that are struggling to get in front of the right people to be able to go to the next level, is it just necessary? I don't want to say for them to just settle in, but be satisfied to be playing and to be working? Or should I just quit my job and take my guitar on the road and be George Benson? What is your suggestion?
I'm going to tell you what Miles said about people that are comfortable. He said, I don't want any comfortable musicians on my stage, meaning I need you to be an expert at what you do and take chances at where we're going. How do we move forward? By being comfortable. See, the idea that my father did all of these kinds of things really permeated to myself, because that's why I do art. I was in clothing, but I've been in business. And in fact, when I met you 30, 40 years ago, well, we dating ourselves, but at any rate, I understood what you had put together. It's a network. And if we don't work in the network and we don't come together, then what is it? And so when I was working for the African marketplace, I made this thing called Joining Forces. That's what we have to do consistently. Is what you started this program with, Joining Forces. Okay, here's an opportunity. Are you laying dead? Excuse me. Are you laying quiet, at home, relaxed and comfortable? Or are you comfortable going out to become an understanding of what it is that you have value to bring to the people? And music, to me, became, and I was a therapeutic behavioral specialist at one point in my life, and as a probation officer. So I'm working with these young folks. Where do we go? We must lead from in front. We can't push from behind. So it's the attitude of gratitude in your spirit and in your working environment. It's like yourself, as I see you all over from the desert to the sea.
Yes.
I mean, who wants to do all that? But see, somebody chose to, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. So I'm all in. Rich, I always say to people, I don't want to change my name, but I want to be rich. So the understanding that you brought business to business right now, and that's what it is all about. It's taking care of your business. If you're taking care of your business, you take care of your family. You take care of your finances. You take care of your foundation. This is what was taught to me, and we both, at one time in our career, did a lot in the financial field with insurance. I had to come back to that. My dad is the one he was an insurance agent as well. I mean, everything he did, I just seemed to have followed. Just he was manufacturing clothes, so did I. I sold cars too. It's like, keep everything coming into your household. So, I thought that my dad is is a great provider, I'm going to be that too.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
that's such a thing for young men today. This is Men's Health Month coming up in here in
yes.
July. So we're gonna next week we're gonna have some health issues on, but we're gonna talk about how those health issues will help you in your business. Because if you're not healthy, you can't run your business, you can't go to work. And one of the things that we talk about here on Strictly Business is that you have to go to work every day. Even
Yeah.
if you're the entrepreneur, you're the person, I own my own business. I could sleep late if I want to, but if you sleep late, you're not going to own your own business long.
See, see,
Good.
this is one thing that my son Kijana we talk about. See, it's not you got to do anything, you get to. See, Rich Wallace, you get to drive all over and help people throughout those 13 chapters and even more. Because the people that understand what's going on there, even the certificates that are behind you, I know that that whole wall could be full, you
Mhm.
know, but at the same time, it is appreciated because you're doing is your mentorship, your school, getting young. I was reading, what is it? 2002
Yeah,
Youth Bill
yeah,
you gave me the other day. I'm
yeah,
reading that. I'm reading the little excerpts of these young folks, 30 years old, get their high school degree. I told my mom I was going to do this. Man,
yes, yes, sir.
that's so powerful. It is. See, it's the therapeutic value of the music, of the art, of the business, because business is an art.
Business is definitely an art. It is, if you are functioning right in business and you have a system, and what we've been talking about is that build yourself a system within your business. And if you can't, reach out to the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, and we can design or help you get in front of a person that will allow you to build a system. One of my young mentees and young entrepreneurs out in Las Vegas tells me, Mr. Fred Hilliard that owns LasVegas.com. He says, "Man, you and Roscoe," he always says, "Roscoe is the hardest working person I know." You have James Brown's logo. Every entertainer in the world said James Brown was the hardest working man in show business. James Brown's show was always a fantastic show. And that's what they say about Roscoe. Roscoe is the hardest working man in the jazz entertainment business, and you develop business for the people that you're associated with. And so I want to know about the Jazz Zone, where it came from, and how did you get the zone in there? It's such a unique name. I hope you've already done all the paperwork on it, because the Jazz Zone, I got signs on my wall at home that say Jazz Zone. People go, "Where is that at?" I say, "It's in this area." You know, it's
Yeah,
here. There's a
yeah,
the because it's a zone. I mean, they got things right now that they call the opportunity zone.
yes,
This kind of zone. The
yes.
federal government, it has zones, but Roscoe Leons has the Jazz Zone. And where'd that come from and how did it come about?
Probably two places. One, what you said, I'm not a musician, you know, but I am. In fact, I had to join as a musician, and I told
Oh,
them, well, I just use my voice because I wanted to do a project at the musician Local 47. Right after my dad had passed, I was doing this project with these heavy duty brothers. And so the only way I could be it was to register as a musician. I said, well, I communicate, I talk. Oh, yeah, okay, rap, well, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's what I do. So I registered as a vocalist. So, but I don't use that because I'm not a vocalist. I have a message that I want to bring forth, and I utilize the opportunity there with the mic to do that. But what got me into the Jazz Zone was I, as I was completing Jimmy Owens, it was Jimmy Owens Trio Plus One that he had advanced from the Jimmy Owens Trio. And then it became, when I started to working with it, it was the Jimmy Owens Jazz Ensemble because it was more people that were involved depending upon what we were doing. And from there, I took the opportunity to take him into the zone.
mm,
So I said, I'm going to call this the Jazz Zone, which is understood. The golden rock is Jimmy Owens. And so on the website, it kind of tells the little part of that story. But the fact that I took the music because, see, if you have a powerful man that can do a lot of things like that as a father, and I'm watching this, and like I'm saying, shoot, on Friday night, Saturday night, he's shark skin suit going out, hey, play them drums. But through the day, it's like, okay, I got appointments. And uh, so it's always business and always music. So mine, it didn't twisted my mind up so bad, I had to go into therapy. So I became a therapist, in terms of what really was going on. And the art of business is therapy. What you're doing, uh, like the scheduling to get up, I got to do 2 miles. I got to do 2 miles. If I don't get to do 2 miles on my schedule, or wherever I'm at, I do some extra stepping around because I need to get my miles in terms of my headset, because what you said, if you're not healthy, you can't go no further. See, and I told some people we were doing some insurance and understanding what was going on here, talking about the price. I said, yeah, too old, too sick, too late
Mm.
for maybe so. But you have grands, too early, start now, get them to understand the investment in self is much more important than the investment in them tennis shoes, so to speak.
And okay, you have mentioned several times about your dad, Mr. Owens, and how his work ethic was, and
Yeah.
how he progressed in this and that. Okay, being a father today, uh, and a grandfather, and maybe even a great grandfather. I have to check, see,
Yeah. Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Yes.
so, in one of the things that is always a struggle for me, being a father and grandfather and all those steps, is that uh, parenting adult children. I have a son that's 50. I've got one that's 40 something. I've got one that's 30 something, and daughters that are 40 something. Okay, they are an adult people that make adult decisions as we as parents, no matter whether they're 2 year old, two or 22 or 42 or 52, we always want to put a net underneath them,
Yes.
because as a grown person, I have to tell my son sometimes that you're still my son,
Yes.
and as a father, the the inspiration of a father doesn't change because the kid got older.
Yes.
Uh, I mean, you have to loosen up or let go a little bit more, because when
Yeah.
they're 2 years old and they first start to walk and they don't even want to hold your hand anymore, you
Right.
know. But when they get
Yes.
3 and they've been walking for a minute, pick me back up,
Right.
So uh,
Let me ride.
yeah, that walking was cool for a minute. It was cute, but I need to be picked up. So as a father, and picking up, and I have to pick mine up a lot of times, or I have to walk them through some things. How, as a father, will are you walking through this with grandchildren and inspiring them to be a part of the jazz zone, or even the great grandchildren? How are you passing that on?
You know, the one of the answers to that is a strong mother.
Mm,
I had a situation with my own son, a grown man at the time, and I'm, talking to my mom and asking her a couple of questions. Well, why, what? She said, I was there for you.
mm.
Not telling me what to do or nothing, because my parents don't tell me what to do. They drop them nuggets, and sometimes you don't know what they say talking about till later on. I said, hmm,
Yeah, yeah,
okay. So
yeah.
then you find ways to assist without, because sometimes I have to slow my wife down, because my wife is like, oh, hey, oh, because we have a lesson to be learned,
Mhm.
a process to follow. And, you know, um, and say real men don't cry. Real men cry real hard, you know. And Kijana wrote that book from the inside. You know, they may not be showing it, but then again, they show it too. It doesn't make a difference because the bottom line is, because I am a great grandfather. In fact, I'm so glad I can announce I'm 77 years old. Shoot, you know what I mean? And you know, the opportunity to go and do what I do makes me feel valuable to me. And see, when you have value to yourself, you know that you're either adding value or your spirit is right in terms of what you feel to do. So I don't got to on nothing.
And that's fantastic. And that's one of the things that we've been talking about here on Strictly Business is you're a valuable person. And I've announced to my staff is that when you walk in the room, you're really the most important person in the room. And instead of you trying to meet people, people need to be trying to meet you. You know, you are the jazz zone. So I need to get into the zone. And so I need to go over here and meet this brother because he can help me get to the next level, or we can have an intelligent conversation so we can work together and we can build something on that. Uh,
You
uh,
know, I want to say, excuse me for
mhm.
breaking it, but I want to say what has happened in the jazz zone and how that ended up cooperating was with joining forces. I got with this young lady, Doll Scott MacDuff, older sister out of Chicago, had the Jammin Foundation, which was celebrating musicians, understanding and being sure that music is being performed in jazz as many places as possible. So I joined her foundation and I worked with her until she became a spirit. And I continued to work with her, but through that, I met also Miss Linda Morgan, who is now Miss Linda Sam, and we had the Living Legends. And the Living Legends, what we have done is celebrating birthdays of living legends or musicians that are in our local area uh,
Mm.
in terms of giving them their roses while they're alive. And within the 12-year period that we were working together on this, we've given 192 living legend jazz zone, excuse me, uh, living legend awards, you know, to these people. And it's a collection of so many awesome jazz musicians that are here and now deceased as well. But through that, that was a formation. And currently, we have come in back to joining forces, doing networking with Miss Linda Sam. We have the Jazz Zone Jazzabration Connection, which is now a nonprofit, and it is to culturally, financially, musically, and artistically support our community through fundraisers and other kinds of things. So I'll be bringing that to your attention
Mm.
also later as it relates to participating with the Black Chamber of Commerce, which already have for years. And I thank you for allowing us to perform at the Long Beach Black Chamber of Commerce event, which award event was beautiful at the Renaissance Hotel in Long Beach. So
And that
we're
was
just
that
grateful.
was a unique situation, and the chamber in Long Beach has definitely appreciate you coming out and has grown from that with the city. I was out there yesterday. There's going to be a new restaurant moving into Long Beach, a high end restaurant called Ruth. Chris or something like that.
Hmm.
I lose names real bad, but high end, similar to some of the restaurants off on La Cienega, Laurie's, and that type of steakhouse that are going to be moving to Long Beach, opening up a brand new restaurant down on Long Beach Boulevard. We visited the site yesterday. We're going to do a big ribbon cutting there in August and some other things. And I suggested to the gentleman that is going to be doing it that he reach out to the Jazz Zone for a combo to come out and participate in that. One of the things that I really want to focus on, because you keep bringing it around, and this that fatherhood thing. There's so much that goes into being a father. But when you mentioned a minute ago that as your dad was working and doing what he was doing, and you said it right out of your mouth, I had a strong mom. Mothers that are usually the foundation of what goes on in the house, and the father is in and out and trying to make sure there is a house. uh, it is important that the father and the mother be on the same page. And we have so many parenting situations today that they're not in the same house. Unfortunately, the father's over here, mother's over there, but they're trying to manage the kids. As parenting goes, it's a very difficult progress to do. And then there's another family that comes along. So I call them blended families. And we've learned that blending families work if there is a guideline, not a demanding force, but a strong hand. Um, and growing up as a parent, I ruled with a strong hand. Sometimes the hand was a little bit stronger than it should have been. But God blessed us with four boys, no jail time, no this, no that, no drugs, no none. Had a lot of problems though, but they seem so small today that they were really not issues and problems. They were just guidelines that they needed to go through as young people. So as your young people are going through certain things, and it is so difficult to be able to pass the inspiration that you have to the next generation, or even skipping that generation and going to the next generation, who out of your lineage that you can spot, and you can spot them as a father and a grandfather and a great grandfather, which one of those are saying, hey, I want to do the jazz song? I thought it was one of your granddaughters that were rolling with you for a minute, but because she was doing it, and
She's the
yeah,
one.
she's
Dominique,
she's the one.
she's
Okay.
the one. She's going through her lessons,
Uh-huh.
so she could
Okay.
be the one.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
she's the one. I've assumed, and just like my daddy assumed I was
Hmm.
going to be playing them drums,
Right.
or my
Right.
uncle assumed I was going to play the piano.
Yeah.
They both assumed I'm going to play something, but that was their assumption.
Right.
So, I can't live. What I have to do is do what I do and allow it to be seen as what it should be. You
But
know,
even though they're not here now,
yes,
if there's a possibility
yes,
that they watch this, you please them both by not playing either one, but promoting all instruments and all jazz musicians.
yes,
Now, as you doing this, I am so interested in how keeping the legacy alive. How I watched Rainey's Black Bottom.
yes,
It was a movie out,
yes.
and I watched it because a friend of mine, Glenn, was in it, and I was so amazed with the lady that was the blues singer of the day that I'd never heard of. And because the popularity, and today a peacock, tomorrow a feather duster.
Right.
You can
There
be
you
famous,
go.
famous as you want to, but none of my students in my class ever heard of Smokey Robinson. And I was amazed. How you not know who that is? So, but the new generation. So, how are you keeping those 1930, 1920 famous musicians in front of the new public?
I'm trying to do even um, the most effective way to do that is to do series that are inclusive with schools and organizations that want information, and music is a guide to that. What happened with me also in terms of the art, being an artist, I've worked with artists and had an art gallery for years, and all of a sudden I walk by this space, and what do? I create this series, and the whole series was based on music and based on my dad, going from a box that he had stuff in to the symbols that he brought from St. Louis, and I made this China, just things
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
created to emphasize that. And why I did that, I don't know. When I was collecting this stuff on the side, my wife was asking me, why was I doing that? I told her, I don't know. I'm just doing that. And then it turned into this, which turned into my series. My series is called Thought. It is most dynamic, exclusive series that I am marketing, and this again goes back to marketing, developing clients, and that to hotels, venues, and uh, 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 builders.
When you're out and you're building this music format, I took a cinematography class, and I really didn't realize. I watch movies and TV shows, and I didn't realize how much the music drives the movie. So the music lets you know that there's a killer coming outside. The
Mhm.
music lets you know that calm down, it's going to be all right. you know
Jaws.
yeah. So and you don't even realize that they place this music in spots that reacts to your natural, whatever it is you have inside of you. The system or design that this music is going to relax you, or
Yeah.
the dun 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 means the killer is coming, or whatever it is. And even as the car speeds to catch the other car, there's music in the background that drives whatever scene there is. And when I got into it, I was like, man, there's a lot of music in here. So now I learned. I had a gentleman on the other day, and he was telling me how many chords or how many notes there were, and there was only 24 or whatever the number is. And I said, well, how do you not run into other music that's already been played if there's only so many notes and only so many hits and and new music keeps arising up. And so I say, okay, now that we're in the music game and you are putting out your sounds, is do you get any of the music people into contracts or things that they need to do to be able to do contracts? And I show this book that I'm not promoting this book. I'm promoting a book of contracts and legal documents so that you'll be able to move forward. As you are in the music business, are you necessarily contracted? Because you write music, you create art. So now when you create a piece of art, do you do the, what they call it, the artisticity piece of paper that goes with that makes it, what is that?
Yeah, it's a certificate of authenticity,
Okay.
which it denotes if it's an original or if it's a limited edition, which I do as my originals stay with me. The limited editions we do up to 12, and and then a couple of artist proofs. So it tells the individual what the art is, the amount of them that are being created. And so now, if you have one of 12 and that's all that's in the world, that's pretty amazing and unique.
Mhm.
So, and then, the other aspect of that is just like with the film and business, it's licensing for them to use it in their not only is the music, it's the walls, it's the background, it's what they're gonna put on the walls. That's how Ernie Barnes got famous, which
Mhm.
now just sold a piece for 15.3 million.
Mhm.
One of his pieces he created many, many years ago and made a lot of money on the piece just selling it. And now also the print has doubled, tripled in value as well. So it's and I was teaching when I had the Arroyo Gallery in Pasadena how to be sure and invest in African American art and artists. And so I was promoting several of them. Charles Bibbs, one, Cynthia St. James, you know, Kathleen Wilson, Aziz. Then they've all risen to a major degree. But the fact was that I needed to teach other folk. It's like, hey, don't look at our art as just being pretty. Look at our art as being an investment. Become a collector, and thus they have. And congratulations to Mr. Charles Bibbs. They're developing a museum and cultural center out in San Bernardino regarding his art, you know.
So
And
now, if I decided to be a collector, do I need to know about art, or I just can collect what I like? I mean,
well,
is there a book or someplace, a website that I could go to figure out how to become a collector?
you know what? I just saw a piece that I did. I said, this is $10,000. It's
Mm.
just a sketch. But I can look at some other people's art. I said, how come they can ask for $100,000
Yeah, yeah,
because of their name?
because of their name.
It's not their art.
So it's the
That's the
it's the
value.
art. It's the
Right.
artist.
Yeah, it becomes the artist
Yeah. Okay.
because one of his pieces, somebody says, I love that. I'll pay $1 million for it.
Mm. So now it's worth $1 million because somebody's
Now
willing
it's
to
worth
pay
a
for it.
million. Now the rest of the stuff is like, hey, he was selling it for 10,000. Now he got to raise the price up to $80,000
Mm. Okay.
because people want his work. So and it's like in one of the pieces I did on my dad was using the symbols cut up as chimes, and it was like 5 chimes, which represented the musicians. The musicians that was on the chimes was the major musicians like Miles Davis, Coltrane. These are the people that had their name on the marquee. But the other musicians didn't have their name on the marquee, but they had to be just as good in order for them to be that good.
Yeah. Mm.
My dad was one of those.
Mm.
Nine known, played with all the best. So that means you got to be the best to play with the best, or else they don't want you on the stage with them.
Okay.
So that whole thing, but who is the marquee? So they
Okay.
buying Miles. Miles, they find out Miles paints, right? Oh, wow, I want one of his paintings.
Hmm.
I want one of his paintings because he's Miles Davis.
Right. So now let me ask you, um, musicians, um, they're like actors. 1% of the people in the industry actually climb to a level of topness or
Notor-
whatever you want to call it.
Notoriety, yeah.
Yeah, notoriety. Um, is there something in the music industry for retirement? Because they work for themselves. Do they create their own 401? Because I've how do we not pass the plate or not have car washes for people that have given so much to the music industry, and they were paying their bills, they raised their kids, they made enough money to eat every day, but they were living what do you call it, set to set. They were living,
Yes.
job to job, and they were doing good at job to job, but there wasn't any $2 or $3 that they could put back because they had mortgages and these kinds of things. Is there a different kind of non-famous union for musicians to be a part of that helps take care of them when they become in the aging years that you know about?
Okay, you're asking about the musicians locals. They have a lot of musician locals that are available, and they have various different benefits for the musicians if you have joined the union and you're paying your dues and that. So that is there. But the honest understanding is musicians are entrepreneurs. It's like you don't have to join a union. You get to, but you can get to do your own in terms, and this is why I joined Equus Financial, because of exactly what you said. So these youngsters, you come out playing, it's like, hey, wait a minute, you have to stack your money. You must do this. In fact, first of all, you must say what you're worth. At 18 years old, maybe, okay, I'm worth $250,000. Well, $250,000 worth of insurance may cost you, say, $40. But you say, well, look here, but I want to put $100 in there a month. That's $60 working for you as well. So you're doing your investment, 401ks and 401bs. They're finding out that that was some,
Mm.
uh, that worked while it worked. I'm not going to say what it wasn't. It
Right.
worked while it worked, but it's not really working now. People jumped to crypto and thought that was going to do it and lost some money, but the stick and stay and make it pay. You know what I mean? Don't put more than you can lose in the first place.
In the first.
So the attitude of what's going on in our economic system worldwide, you know, has become a confusion with countries that want to do their own thing. But it's going to have to be a global understanding network just like desert to the sea, an understanding of the network. This part of the sea made millions of dollars, and this part of the sea made only 400,000. We need to put some more money over here at this part of the sea, and everybody got to understand that the sharing is the caring
Mhm.
and the success of moving forward. So this is what I see in what you've established, and I follow that as well because you are younger, but you are one of my mentors as well, just in uh, understanding the energy and the effort that's being put. And to see that sometimes you put it all in and it flips upside down, and you got to stick to it. Stick
Yeah,
and stay and let it pay.
yeah,
Until they so, oh, you now you recognize. Jesus, I wish y'all would have recognized a long time ago, but it doesn't make a difference
yes, sir.
because we here.
Yeah,
It does.
success is right on the other side of get up. Uh,
Ooh, say that again.
Success is right on the other side of get up. So
Ooh,
if you can get up one more time, you can
yeah.
get that's where the success lies.
And you
So
know, that is so much the truth. Thank you for that. See, I had to write that down.
yeah,
Other side of get up.
on the other side of get up. I want to stress to our young musicians or even our entrepreneurs how valuable an insurance policy is. Uh, uh, it's it is kind of a situation that makes you comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. Uh, if something should happen, there are many different types of insurances that you could get. And if you buy insurance on your car, your house, your apartment rental furniture, it's very necessary for you to have insurance, especially if you play the guitar. If you play an instrument that you need your hands need to be insured. Because if you get a real bad hangnail, it would sound funny and simple, but it would stop your fingers from moving in the direction that they need to move in, or stop your mind from moving in, or your back sitting in the car too much. Because I drive from the desert to the sea, so sometimes I got to take a Tylenol when I get in the car and one when I get out of the car. So insurance is so important. And I want you to kind of speak in that a little bit on the different types of things that they could do to protect themselves or just be ready for later on.
First of all, I'm going to impress that insurance, family, foundation, finance, legacy is extremely important in those particular. It's like you said about the customer getting a suspect, turn them into a prospect and turn them into a client. Is being sure that number one is educating people what is insurance. Insurance in terms of life insurance is like if you pay $150 a month on your automobile, what is most important? You or the car? So, oh, you're going to pay this amount on your house because they said that you need to have this on your house, and is who is most important, you or the house? So you taking yourself out of two different categories and said, well, I'm not as important as my car or my house or my things, and those are things you can't take with you anyway. But the fact that the matter is, in life insurance, is not only if you're deceased. And I tell people, look at your life insurance policy. They say, well, I got life insurance policies and it's been in there for 10 years. Well, have you seen it? Do you know what it does? Or do you want to be educated on what your policy does for you? And because it's like the phone, I used to have a phone. My parents had a phone, paid $20 for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a couple $1,000 or $1,000 every 2-3 years.
Yeah.
So the fact that the opportunities have become so um, relied on technology that now they have which is called extended life insurance that has living benefits as well. So if you've got cancer or leukemia or some major illness, it will take care of, say that I'm just going to use $100,000 as a policy. Say 10 to 70% of that you could pull down in terms of helping you with your living expenses during that time. You know, everything is a waiting period to a certain degree, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever the situation would be. But those are things that are in the policy. People look at mortgage protection. Yeah, you want to protect your home, but the mortgage protection is protect your mortgage, your investment. You know, your investment is like, hey, you have a home is worth, uh, say, $500,000, $500,000, but you know, $200,000 of that is equity that they could take if they put a foreclosure on your house. You know, you're gonna lose everything else, but protect that with life insurance. So if something does happen to you, or you're building cash value, then you have that because there's a universal life, which is an index program, and then there is a term insurance policy, which is like, hey, I just need this much for this period of time. And so the opportunity to put it together is important. And I am an agent, and that's why I came back into the field because I was with Allstate for 18 years or so. But to come back is what you said. Too many burials with car washes and this, that, and the other. I said, Roscoe, what are you going to do? I'm going to have to educate some people.
Yeah.
You know, we need to follow the positive understanding of the system that we live in, which is capitalism.
Yeah.
No
So,
romance without finance. So
so
simple.
and in that, it is so necessary. And I wanted to just kind of tap into that for a second so people would at least be aware of it. Because what you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't know, ask someone. So I want you to give me a second and tell where the Jazz Zone is going to be in the next few days, and leave some information on how to reach you, so that we'll definitely be able to have people come out and see where the Jazz Zone is, and what you guys are doing.
Well, let me start with what we just did for Juneteenth, which is we're talking Black Music Month. Juneteenth in Pomona, we had Mr. Chester Whitmore on stage, and we did a whole series on exactly what you're talking about. Was a series from taking A Train all the way to Song for My Father, and giving the audience an understanding the jazz movement. That
Okay.
was absolutely awesome. Then to come up with, we're in Long Beach again at Roscoe's Jazz Lounge, which is located in the Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in Long Beach. And we're there on the 9th, which is a Saturday, and again on the 23rd in this month of July. So please put your calendar on that. We're open from 8 to midnight. It's a $10, it's a cover charge, but it's a minimum charge of $10. So we can be sure that all work well for everybody. We're also performing at the Barbara Morrison's Performing Arts Center every third Thursday of the month. So this month it's going to be on the 21st, and that's from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we did it that way because we wanted to be sure that we access information for seniors. And seniors can come out early in the evening and then leave before dawn. And then those folks that are just getting off work come around 5 o'clock and catch. We have the Jazz Zone Trio with some fabulous artists. And then the invitation is it's a birthday celebration for a lot of the musicians that we've honored and other people that want to come and celebrate with us.
So
So
on
that,
July the 9th, you're where once again?
okay, July the 9th and the
Uh-huh.
23rd, we're at Roscoe's Jazz Lounge in Long Beach.
Okay.
On the 21st, which is a Thursday, we're at Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
And we are doing, what are we? I think we're doing a project at well, we are doing a project at the LA City Club. I'm not sure if that's for the
Okay.
total
Now
audience.
I can get all of that information if I go to.
Jazzone.net as JAZZZONE.net. Or you can go to Roscoe Lee Owens on Facebook. You
Okay.
can call Roscoe at 626-798-6848. You can also go on Facebook to Linda Sam, as LINDA SAM. And we're working together with the Jazz Zone Jazzabration. That's JAZZONE, Jazz, and then Jazzabration is JAZZABRATION. So there we go. The history of jazz, you can really catch it on Facebook. And once you hit me, there's all kind of Jazz Zone network or Jazz Zone network connection. Gives you a lot of information of what I just shared. So, and then you could Google me, Roscoe Lee Owens, and
Can I download some jazz music from your site yet?
oh man, if you go to my site, and the first piece is a song for my father we did live at Roscoe's. You should check
Okay.
that out on the front page.
Okay.
And it's a YouTube piece that I did, so you can copy that and share
Okay.
it and do whatever you like. But it's a
Okay.
boss. It's I don't know. It's not at Roscoe's. Excuse me. This I had to change it because this piece is from the famous Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center, and she's on there as well.
Okay. So once again, that's jazzone.net. That's 3 Z's. So definitely go to the site, take a look at it. You also have some artwork on the site. So if I was looking at trying to purchase some art, I'd be able to see that at jazzone.net, and I'd be able to connect with you and find out where the entertainment is. Coming up on July the 9th, it's going to be the hot spot over at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in Long Beach. So I say to all my Long Beach folks, come on out. And you're there, what's a couple times a month at Roscoe's, right?
Well, we're there at least once a month. I'm not
Okay.
trying to do Roscoe's a lot. I want to continue to be in the Long Beach area. I'd like to do some other things in Long Beach, like the new club or other kinds of scenarios. But the bottom line is, I'm Roscoe at Roscoe's, and I can't stop it.
And Roscoe is a piece of the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, and he
That's
is
right.
also from the desert to the sea.
That's right.
So
That's
uh, So I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us this morning, Mr. Roscoe. I want to do a brief announcement of what the chamber is. I am with the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, and please go to our website at blackchamberofcommerce.org. We've got 14 opportunities to network this month in July, from the Pomona Valley all the way out to Palm Springs and down into Temecula. Barstow will be open this month, where it's hot, but we don't care. The gas is $6 a gallon, but it's an investment in your business. And remember, earlier in the week, I told you, don't complain about the gas. Move. Don't let anything stop you from connecting where you're supposed to connect. That gas is designed for you. And I've been on the freeway since the gas been over $6 a gallon, and the traffic has not slowed down here in Southern California. So the freeway is still crowded. You got to leave early in the morning. And if I was coming from Long Beach yesterday, I left Long Beach at 3:30, and I didn't get to Riverside till almost 6. So traffic is bad, but you must go where you must go. You must do what you must do. Don't use an excuse about it being this or being that. Make it happen, because you are the person that can make it happen. This is Rich Wallace, and I'm with the Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce, and we are from the desert to the sea. So I thank you so much for coming out, and visit us on Wednesday of next week. It is Men's Health Week, and we're going to tie that into business. I've got some speakers coming on that are going to be phenomenal for you to be able to connect, to make things work from the desert to the sea. We're signing off here now. And before we go off, I'm going to give Mr. Roscoe one last statement to make before we say good day and see you next week. Mr. Roscoe, you want to close us out with a good statement here?
Yes, indeed. We make smooth jazz and cool jazz sizzle. That's what we do in the Jazz Zone. That's JAZZZONE. Or contact me, Roscoe Lee Owens, at 626-798-6848. And enjoy life with God's blessings. And again, thank you, Mr. Rich Wallace, and the entire Southern California Black Chamber of Commerce for that.